This is Larry Bache with the Merlin Law Group, helping policyholders for more than 30 years. If you have a claim or your client has a claim that needs help, please feel free to call the Merlin Law Group because we are the true policyholder advocate.
Summit. All right. Hey, Facebook, what's up? Matt Grassmyer here with Drew Houghton from Merlin Law Group. We're talking a little bit about the SRC Summit today. Drew's going to be down there. Health Trace is going to be down there. Drew, you're speaking on the legal expert panel.
Correct.
Lots of knowledge on that panel. We got Daly and Black, Rick Daly, John Black. We got Karen Inslee. We got John Wood. There's a lot of big-time names on there.
Yeah, Philip Sanoff will be on there too.
Philip Sanoff, yeah. Some great names on there. How excited are you to be on this panel?
I'm very excited. This will be my second year. I was on it last year. My third SRC Summit. April puts on a great event for contractors, not just for contractors, but public adjusters and lawyers as well. So Merlin is a big sponsor. We like to be there, and I'm excited, especially this year because, you know, normally you and I and everyone else in this industry is speaking at other events. Yeah. April was on with Chip on Tuesday and was talking about 29 states are being represented, and it's the only event for our industry that's happening in the first quarter. So I think it's going to be a good turnout. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, that's exciting. And I think, as far as industry events go, like obviously COVID has, caused some delays in some and some to be rescheduled. And, I think, as we've been just talking, casually, like people are just excited to get out of the house. Exactly. And I think we're going to have a pretty good turnout here. Why are you guys always so interested and come back to the SRC table, bringing your guys' knowledge to it? Because you guys are all over the place. Like you guys,
right.
like you got some people flying in from Florida to be a part of this summit. Chip's coming in, so that's a pretty big deal that he's going to be on stage talking. So what makes SRC Summit so great?
So footnote to that, Chip had to cancel, unfortunately, so Chip won't be speaking. But that's the fast times with Chip. April and I found out last week, but. So I will be there, and we'll have some other Merlin folks on board. But for us, it fits in line with what we do. Merlin has Chip has been doing it forever. I met Chip right after Hurricane Katrina, and Chip has always been, and it's why it's kind of our slogan, policyholders advocate. This fits right in line with our ability to continue that mantra and be a resource to the industry, whether it's contractors, public adjusters, or other lawyers. And so for us to be in a room and part of the dialogue with the same people that do what we do and do it well across the country, it's really a privilege for us to be with those people. Philip Sanoff, for example, used to be with Merlin, and he's continued to carry on that with another firm, but yet it's still the same end goal, to take care of policyholders, educate the industry. What's beautiful about what April does is it's firsthand knowledge that people get, and they can apply it right then.
Oh, absolutely.
So you learn. I don't really want to call them tips or tricks. You just learn what the more of the trends that are happening and developments that are going on, because especially with COVID, a lot of people think that the courts have shut down, and I can tell you they're not. Larry and I tried a case in November in the Eastern District of Texas, Tyler Division. And that court, contrasting to maybe Missouri where I'm at or Kansas where I'm at, that court basically didn't even think COVID existed, and it was fast tracked. They flipped the courtroom around. We tried it backwards. Basically, the jury was spread out back where the benches are, and the witness was sitting in the jury box, and the judge was behind us. Other than flipping the courtroom around and a few mask requirements, it was trial as usual. Missouri, Kansas, quite the opposite. Our scheduling orders keep getting kicked out. From a litigation standpoint, it's good information to be able to pass on to the people that are out there, to let them know, hey, whatever delays or timeline you were used to, it's prolonged in most places right now, unfortunately.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think we're still seeing the effects, like the delayed effects of COVID, and that's one of the great things about panels like this is, getting firsthand knowledge from the guys that are out there that are, like hail season. Contractors are, really busy during hail season, and it seems like there's more of an uptick for PAs and the lawyer side of things, like past that. So like getting those types of trends or inside, I guess not inside knowledge isn't the best word to use, but kind of some of the things that are happening. One of the things that I really love about this panel, specifically from the legal side, is you guys are really good at what you do and can charge pretty much whatever you want. And so it's really awesome that we've got this group of experts that's literally talking to contractors and just giving, I mean, you're getting like free knowledge from some of the best industry minds from a legal perspective. And like, that's worth way more than the price of admission. And I that can't be overstated enough how amazing that is, just to be able to come down there and hear from all you guys being experts in the field that you guys are in. And that's just so incredible. So, what are some of the, you've mentioned a little bit of what's going on in some of the areas of the country. Can you give us a little teaser of anything else you guys might be talking about as far as the panel goes?
You know, it's going to be probably pretty Texas heavy since it's a Texas venue. But again, you know, April said on Tuesday when she had an interview with Chip, there's people from 29 different states, and so everyone on that legal panel. That's the beauty is, it's not competition. They're not competitors. Everybody is like-minded enough to where we subscribe to the same philosophy of educating and being a resource to everybody in this industry, so that everyone's doing it above board and doing it right, because the end goal is to take care of policyholders in those unfortunate situations where the contractor and the policyholder, you know, maybe run into an obstacle of whatever the issue may be. Sometimes there's a public adjuster solution, sometimes there's a legal solution, and sometimes there's even, you know, appraisal or arbitration or those kinds of things. The beauty that I have with Merlin is we're such a national presence. I think we've got 15 offices coast to coast, not including Puerto Rico, and we can feed trends. I can see what's happening in New York, or I can talk to the guys in California and pretty well predict that at some point in time it's going to make its way down to Oklahoma. Right, yeah. A lot of Texas trends, of course, make its way to Oklahoma just because of call it the Red River rivalry or whatever you want to call it. But we monitor those trends and then get ready for them in Oklahoma or Kansas or Missouri or somewhere else in the Midwest, because it typically makes its way that way, either from west to east or east to west. So I know that this year with COVID, there's a lot of things that went on. There's some changeover in the industry on perceptions of assignments. Seems to be at least a nod toward moving from appraisals to the arbitration panel type stuff. And it's good to get feedback from the boots on the ground, the contractors and the public adjusters and the other lawyers that are out there and what they're experiencing, whether it's issue specific or even company specific. You can get trends from Allstate, State Farm, and learn, hey, last year they were paying for starter strip. This year, absolutely not. Yeah. Safeco's not paying OMP. It's in their guidelines. We got copies of them. Yeah. Hey, share those with me. That's the beauty of this type of thing, is you can collaborate with people and pick up on those trends and developments.
Oh, absolutely. And I think speaking to that, just the collaboration side of things, like looking at all these, lawyers, and the PA is the same thing, and every vendor there really, if our goal is to be a policyholder advocate, if that's the goal, like the other stuff's going to happen. That's going to be a byproduct of that. But then you just feed into networking and relationship building and all these things that, if you need a lawyer on a claim and you don't have anybody, that's not the time to be looking for one. Like, you should have, people that that you're talking to, that you built relationships with, so you can say, hey, Drew, I got this thing going on. You're not going, who's this guy? Right. And then you got to do your due diligence and research who that contractor is. If you're going to things like SRC Summit, you can build those types of relationships and have that built in and not have to be scrambling once something does happen. So I think that's a big aspect of it too, is that networking and relationship building.
Absolutely.
How much of that do you guys see at the SRC Summit?
All the time. It's nice to, social media, especially with COVID, it's nice to run into somebody and go, oh yeah, there's an actual real person behind that social media person that you've texted with, or that's called you and asked you an in the field question, on a whim about a particular issue that's gone on, and you actually get to meet them in person. And that's always, for me, ultimately, that's the hardest part about COVID, is you've not been having these personal connections that you're so used to. And so I'm particularly looking forward to that. Of course, social distancing, safeties, and all that stuff that'll be in place. It's still going to be nice to be just sharing the same airspace as real people and not digital.
I think there's not enough you can say about that. Just getting out and being able to be around people and, doing Zoom is awesome, but at the end of the day, like, we're most people are built to be in relationship and be with other people, so something like this is pretty incredible. Another thing you touched on that is really important too is the actionable data or the actionable like knowledge that you can take away and utilize right away. And you guys give, and I think for me, it's hard to wrap my head around, like, well, is legal counsel something that I can put into place? But like you guys frame it in a way where it's like you were saying, like this is something that is not being paid for this year as opposed to last year it was. And that's something you can reframe maybe what you're looking for as a contractor. Maybe we don't look at those types of situations, or maybe we steer clear of those, or whatever it is. You could actually take that and go, all right, we need to do this, or just sound advice. Like having a good contract, like right. Those types of things. That's just such great knowledge to understand and to know. So that's huge.
A couple of years ago, we kind of expanded on that, and I put together, started off as a kind of a crude checklist of things to be aware of, and then it's expanded into a lot more voluminous, detailed information. But that's the kind of stuff that we want to arm them with the knowledge of what to look for and why it's important. You guys have heard me talk for years about data loss and why data loss is so important, and the emphasis that Hail Trace has made on my claim files or my litigation files to actually have good dates of loss and have good information on those dates of loss. And I like to look back and see contractors and public adjusters and lawyers, for that matter, having picked up on that and realizing the importance of that on the front end before the case or the claim, goes south on just an issue as simple as a data loss.
Yeah, absolutely.
And of course that's one of the advantages I think Hail Trace has for me, is to pinpoint those dates of loss and verify a storm and verify severity of a storm, not just at 30,000 feet, but at location too.
Right. What's actually
all things that people miss or they misrely on if it's maybe a competitor vendor report like CoreLogic or something. So I know we were talking about some of the mishaps of CoreLogic earlier, but you got to be aware that those exist, or you'll blindly rely on it too heavily in the wrong way. So I have seen the industry go in that direction, and I like to see that people are being able to take that information and benefit from it. And that's the kind of stuff that happens at SRC Summit live right then and there.
And that's incredible. That's good stuff. So a couple more questions. I want to put you on the spot here. We've got this thing called the Roofing Olympics. And to my knowledge, it's the only place where this is happening. It's the only trade show where there's actually like live Roofing Olympics in the trade show floor. Have you looked at any of the events, and are you going to participate in any of these?
So I didn't participate last year. I kind of observed from afar, and contractors are pretty competitive, so and
indeed
I watched, and usually I was in a suit and tie, so it wasn't really conducive, say for instance for a left-handed ping pong player to be in a suit and tie. But I think we may have to play some ping pong this year. I've got a contractor friend that's going to be there, and he's kind of a ringer, a left-handed guy also, so you put two lefties together and you never know what's going to happen.
Nice, that's awesome. Another question, putting you on the spot. If I'm someone who's sitting on the fence about going to the SRC Summit and I just can't make the decision, should I go, should I not? What would you tell me to convince me to pull the trigger? Let's get some tickets. Let's go down there. Let's go to the SRC Summit.
For a contractor or a PA or even a lawyer, if you're committed to this type of claims, law, the storm industry in general, this is probably going to be SRC's best event that I've been to in the last 3 years because of the timing. As we know, as far as we know, this is the only event that's going to be live with people and not virtual, and everybody's itching to get together. And so I think she's got an all-star crew together. It's not going to be just the usual suspects that are usually there. I think the number of people that are going to be there is going to be huge. The networking alone would justify it. If I had a different hat on and was a contractor or a PA, the networking opportunity alone would probably justify the price of admission. And if price of admission is an issue, we've got a code as a sponsor of the event. If you go register today or any time up to the event, I think it's a $100 discount for using the Merlin promo code, all caps MERLIN. And if you want to get out and just learn information on how to better make your business more efficient and what you do more profitable, and then meet people of like-minded policyholder advocates across the board, from contractors all the way up to the litigation part, I think that's the place to be.
Wow, well said, but I would expect nothing less from Drew Houghton. So not only are you getting some insight into SRC, what Drew's going to talk about, and some of the things that he's seeing from the legal side, some of the trends that are happening, but you also get to take advantage of a pretty sweet discount code. So go to www.srcsummit.com use the promo code Merlin, all caps, that's MERLIN, all caps Merlin, to get $100 off your tickets. There's no excuse not to go. This thing is going to be a pretty great ROI experience. You're going to be able to take away things that you can put into place right away, whether that's from the PA side, the legal side, the $350 million commercial panel. There's so many things that you can take away and just put into practice right away. Any closing thoughts before we get out about the SRC?
Well, we can't forget, I hear there's a really good MC that's going to be there too. So I think there's going to be fun for all. Never know what to expect, right?
My face is the same color as my shirt right now. You're too kind. All right, again, we've got the SRC coming up January 23rd through the 25th. That's this Saturday through next Monday. Go to src.com, get your tickets, use the promo code Merlin, all caps. Again, that's MERLIN, to get $100 off your tickets. We'll see you guys there.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Thanks for being on, Drew. Appreciate it.
Thank you very much.